Welcome to this session on workplace organisation using 6S. My name is Catherine Boyle and I work for Invest Northern Ireland as an Operational Excellence Coach. The Operational Excellence team are trained coaches with numerous years of business experience across a wide range of sectors and sizes of companies. We work with Northern Ireland businesses to improve their productivity, profitability and competitiveness. If you've any queries or you want some more information about the support that we offer, then send us an email through to opexquery@investni.com. During this session, I'll talk about the benefits of workplace organisation for your business. I'll then cover what's involved in each of the 6 stages and how to go about implementing a 6S programme in your business. When our team is out and about with companies, we usually come across 3 different types of housekeeping policies. Third-class workplaces, where clutter accumulates and no one really tidies up. Second-class workplaces, where clutter accumulates and other people tidy up, though usually only when there's a customer visit or an audit. And first-class workplaces, where clutter is avoided and everyone tidies up as they go along. Think about your business for a second. Which housekeeping policy do you usually follow? 6S is a philosophy and methodology for organising and managing the workplace. If you remove the clutter and chaos, you will increase quality and safety and ultimately reduce costs. 6S exposes the waste, which leads to waste reduction. These are some photographs which we've taken in local businesses while we've been out and about in our travels. Does your workplace look like any of these? Do your offices look anything like the ones in these photos? It's important to remember that 6S is not just for manufacturing businesses or for the production area within these. What about the desktop on your PC or laptop? How long do you spend looking for files, and how many mouse clicks does it take to find the information you need? So what exactly is 6S? 6S is so much more than just housekeeping or tidying up. It's workplace organisation to promote the flow of product and orders through the process. It's often seen as a starting point for all improvement activities within an organisation. 6S helps reduce the wastes of transport and motion. Traditionally, 5S's were used, but the 4th S, safety, is more commonly included now, particularly since the introduction of social distancing measures in workplaces, which is having a significant impact on workplace organisation and layout. The focus of 6S activity should be to organise the workplace in order to make it more productive and visually controlled. The 6 steps are: sort out what's needed and what is no longer required. Set, find a place for everything and put everything in its place. Shine, the area should be cleaned and organised. Safety, identify hazards and implement preventative controls. Standardise, update your procedures with the new organising and cleaning tasks. And sustain, carry out regular auditing to maintain your new standards. Now let's look at each of these steps in more detail. The first stage in 6S is to sort through all the tools, materials, files, equipment, etc. in the organisation and keep only essential items. Everything else should be discarded or quarantined. Some items can be disposed of straight away and either scrapped or sold. But if there are items you're not sure about, set up a quarantine area away from the area that you're focusing on for items being considered for disposal to be reviewed. Label these items with a red tag like this one shown here, including some details about where the item came from, when it was removed from the area and what it's used for if you know this. But you need to develop specific criteria for items being quarantined, otherwise you'll end up quarantining everything and just relocating all the clutter from one place to another. Quarantined items can be reviewed over the following weeks and a decision made as to whether they are necessary, should be sold or can be scrapped. Make sure you set a deadline for the review of items in the quarantine area, otherwise it'll fill up very quickly as you start sorting across different areas in your business. Here's some good examples of red tag quarantine areas. As you can see, there's a clear view of everything in the area and the red tags are also clearly visible. The second S stands for set. During this phase, you want to create a place for everything and put everything in its proper place. Tools and equipment should be kept at their point of use, with items used all the time kept within arm's reach. Items used less often can be kept on higher shelves, in drawers, or stored behind the worker, but still readily accessible when they're needed. The process steps and equipment needed to perform each task should be organised in a manner that eliminates extra motion. Are the tools and equipment in your business stored in a way that promotes workflow and minimises motion? Now I'll show you some good examples of ways you can better organise your workplace. Mobile repair stations, which are stocked with tools and components required to complete the most common repair jobs, will help reduce the motion of running back and forward to stores and workshops for these. Colour coding of equipment by department makes it easier to know if something's been borrowed because it will stand out. For example, a green trolley will look out of place in a department where everything else is colour coded in red. Organising cupboards, racks and shelves using drawers, boxes and labelling can help make space usage so much more efficient. Do you have pallets of material lying all over the place in your business? Apart from being a trip hazard, it can be hard to find what you're looking for, especially if it's on a pallet right at the back and you need to climb over the others at the front or pull everything out just to get at what you need. Simple pallet markings on the floor can help make sure pallets are all put in the right place with proper access. Here's some good office examples. How nice would it be to have your desk drawers like this instead of having to rummage around at the back of the drawer for that box of staples? Do you have standardized workstations? Not everyone uses hot desking, but it's becoming increasingly popular with more and more employees working from home for part of the week. Even having a standard layout for office workstations makes it easier to find something on your desk, as well as appearing much tidier and more efficient during customer visits. These box files are marked in such a way that you can tell at a glance if they've been put back in the wrong order or if one's missing. Even having an organised folder network on your system helps save time looking for files and reduces the risk of having duplicate copies saved all over the place because everyone knows where to find the files they need in the first place. The third S is shine. The focus at this stage is to keep the workplace clean and neat. Cleaning should be a daily activity with cleaning equipment readily accessible to everyone. At the end of each shift, the work area is cleaned up and everything is restored to its place, ready for the next shift. There's nothing worse than coming in to begin your shift and having to start by cleaning up the previous shift's mess. Shine promotes increased safety and product quality. Here are some great examples. You can tell that these areas are cleaned on an ongoing basis, not just as a once-off. How impressed would you be if you went to visit one of your suppliers and their workplace looked like this? A clean, well-organised workplace inspires confidence in potential customers. You look like you really know what you're doing. It would be easy to see here if there was something out of line or in the wrong place. What about the impact on your employees? How great would it be to work in somewhere tidy and organised like this compared to a grungy, messy workspace? The fourth stage of the 6S process is safety. The first thing you need to do at this stage is to carry out a risk assessment to identify any hazards associated with any tasks being carried out in the area. In 2020, it was also important for businesses to ensure that all activities could be carried out in line with social distancing guidelines. You will need to put control measures in place to eliminate or reduce any identified risks to a satisfactory level. There are 5 levels in the hierarchy of risk reduction. The most preferred approach is to eliminate risk by designing it out altogether. If this is not possible, investigate if it's an option to substitute the hazardous process or material for a safer alternative. The next level is to use engineering controls to separate workers from the hazard, for example, physical screens and guards or automatic shutoffs triggered by motion sensors. If none of these 3 levels of risk reduction are suitable, then you can use administrative controls, for example, split shifts, staggered breaks, signage, or regular risk assessments. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, should be the last line of defence against risk and only used when all other risk reduction methods have been exhausted. You need to identify the most appropriate PPE for the task and ensure a good supply is readily available. Here are some good examples of different engineering controls that have been employed to separate personnel from hazards associated with high traffic areas and moving equipment. Screens are used as physical barriers between personnel when social distancing is not possible due to space restrictions. These are some good social distancing specific examples of administrative control measures, including floor markings and posters as reminders to personnel working in the area. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, as I said, this should only be used as a last resort when all other risk reduction methods have been exhausted. The fifth stage is to standardise. The focus of this phase is to ensure the personnel are operating in a consistent and standardised way. Everyone knows exactly what their responsibilities are. 6S activities should be included as part of your normal day-to-day procedures and processes. Checklists and T-card systems can be used to ensure all tasks are completed within the agreed time period and to create positive habits. I'll talk more about T-card systems a bit later. As part of the standardised phase, it's a good idea to post photos in each area as a visual reminder of what they should look like. T-card systems are handy tools which act as a visual reminder of tasks that need to be completed on a regular basis. For example, hourly equipment checks, end of shift cleaning tasks, monthly deep cleans, etc. The T-shaped cards are green on one side and red on the other. Once the task has been completed, the T-card for that task is turned around so the green side is facing outwards. These are often used for cleaning tasks as part of the standardised phase, as you can tell at a glance what has been done and what remains outstanding. The sixth S and final stage is often the hardest, but it is vital in order to maintain this new way of working and protect all your hard work so far. Once the previous 5 S's have been established, they should become the new way to operate. Sustain involves regular auditing to ensure that new procedures are being followed across the business, in the offices, in production, in the warehouse, etc. This is the hardest of the 6 S's, as it requires a lot of self-discipline to maintain standards achieved to date. However, without this step, things will quickly slip back to the way they were before you started. Departments can audit themselves or use cross-department auditing. It's important that audit results are posted in the respective areas to keep ownership for 6S within the area and to ensure actions are taken to resolve any issues flagged by the auditor. There are lots of audit templates available online that you can download to use, or even as a starting point if you want to develop your own template. Here's a guide for how to go about implementing 6S in your business. Select a pilot area and the team who are going to be involved. Set targets for the area. What do you want it to be like when the team is finished? Train the team on 6S so they understand what they need to achieve and, most importantly, why 6S is being implemented. Take before pictures of the area. These are useful to refer back to, particularly if transformation of the area takes some time, as it can be good to have something to look back at to see how much progress you've made. Generate a timing plan with realistic targets for each step of the process. During the sort stage, you need to establish where the red tag area is going to be and what the rules are around this. For set, work on the layout design and decide what floor marking, shelving and storage needs to be ordered. During shine, carry out a deep clean of all areas and then determine what cleaning regime will be required to maintain this new standard. For the safety stage, complete a risk assessment for all the tasks which are performed in that area and implement appropriate risk reduction measures and preventative controls. During standardise, document the new standards, updating these as further improvements are made. For sustain, create an audit template, then set up a schedule and decide if you think cross-departmental auditing would work for your business. Before and after photos are a great measure of how much progress you've made so far in an area. Often the transformation is gradual and over a prolonged period of time, so it's easy to forget what the area used to look like before you started implementing 6S. There are a number of key elements which are required to ensure that your 6S programme is successful. Be sure to get everyone involved, particularly when 6S is being introduced in their own department. Business leadership involvement is a must. If a senior manager sees something out of place, they need to fix it or report it to the supervisor in the area. If they walk past it and ignore it, then it will be seen as acceptable to ignore the new way of working. Communicate the need for 6S, the roles of all participants and how it is to be implemented. This will help get everyone on board. Integrate 6S principles into daily work requirements, allow time for cleaning and other additional tasks. Be consistent in following 6S principles in all areas. As I said before, 6S is not just for manufacturing businesses or in the operations area. It can be implemented in service businesses and support department offices as well, including the senior manager's office. Follow through and finish what you started. 6S takes effort and persistence. However, there are a number of benefits of implementing 6S in your organisation. Productivity is improved because you're not spending so much time looking for materials, files, orders, etc. You'll have a safer work environment as it's better organised with less clutter. Waste is reduced, particularly the wastes of motion and transportation. You'll have a better handle on costs as you can see more clearly what you have in terms of inventory, and there will be fewer missing orders and lost materials. An organised workplace will help improve space utilisation. Your business will become a much more pleasant place to work. A well-organised workplace impresses customers and will help you to gain new business. 6S supports the other building blocks of Lean. Key performance indicators, or KPIs, are made visible. In other words, it's easier to tell at a glance how well a process is performing. Information is more clear and concise, which helps to keep your people informed. So just to recap on what I've covered in this session, workplace organisation helps to improve the flow of product and orders through your process. 6S can be a good starting point for all Lean process improvement activities. There are 6 steps involved in the 6S process. Sort out what's needed and what is not. Set a place for everything and put everything in its place. For Shine, ensure the area is clean and organised. Under Safety, identify hazards and use preventative controls. To standardise, update procedures with new cleaning and organising tasks. And finally, for Sustain, carry out regular auditing to maintain the new standards. If you want more information on anything that has been discussed during this session, please send your request through to opexquery@investni.com. Thank you for listening.